A couple of weeks ago, I attempted a Pokemon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke only using heavyweights, and for the most part it went pretty well, but what about lightweight Pokemon? Is there any possibility that they could fare better even though they're so small? Well, we'll be answering that question in today's video, as I'll be trying to beat a Hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon Platinum, while only allowing myself to use Pokemon that weigh less than 50 pounds, as I feel like that's a pretty good benchmark. Now, this does result in a lot of Pokemon being available to me, but you gotta remember, I won't be allowed to evolve most of them as they would exceed the weight limit, so a lot of team members will remain in their first stage. Additionally, it's not guaranteed that I'll even catch all of these Pokemon in the first place. Real quickly, if you don't know the rules of a Hardcore Nuzlocke, here they are on the screen. Anyways, make sure to hit that sub button as it really helps out the channel. And without further ado, it's time to attempt a Pokemon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke only using lightweights. I figured a good name for the rival would be Wind, because one strong gust of it, and all of my future team members are getting blown away into the upper atmosphere. Anyways, I selected Chimchar as my starter. Although all three Sinnoh starters weigh under 50 pounds, Monferno comes in at 48.5 pounds, while Prinplup and Grotle are just over 50, meaning I'll be able to evolve Chimchar. After clawing my way through the first rival battle, it was time to go on a catching spree. Because it was so early on in the game, I easily caught a 4.4 pound Starly in Lake Verity, 44.1 pound Bidoof on Route 201, 20.9 pound Shinx on Route 202, and 2.6 pound Budew on Route 204. It's worth noting that Staravia, Roselia, and Roserade all stay under 50 pounds, so they'll be some of my main team members. As for the rest of the first stage mons, they'll most likely end up becoming death fodder. Wind was trying to blow away my team members on Route 203, but Shinx and Budew had no issues taking care of his squad. This allowed me to add some more Pokemon to my arsenal, including a 43 pound Abra on Route 203, 16.5 pound Zubat in the Oreburgh Gate, 43 pound Machop on Route 207, and 44.1 pound Geodude in the Oreburgh Mine. I don't really see any use for Abra and Zubat since I can't evolve them, but Geodude and Machop could definitely put in some work. The MVP of the first gym was Budew though, as he one-shot Geodude and Onix with Mega Drain. My strategy was to then send out Shinx against Cranidos for the Intimidate, and then get some damage off with Spark. It was all going to plan until Rourke used Pursuit while I was trying to switch Shinx, so unfortunately this was our first of probably many deaths in this run. Monferno swiftly took out Cranidos, and let's be honest, Shinx most likely wasn't going to stay on the team for much longer anyways. With the first gym badge in hand, it was time to catch some more Pokemon, beginning with a 43.2 pound Psyduck in the Ravaged Path, and an 8.6 pound Pachirisu in the Valley Windworks. I then attempted to get a Combee off of the Honey Tree in the Floroma Meadow, but because it didn't stay in after 3 Pokeballs, I killed it. The Commander Mars battle wasn't threatening at all, thanks to Pachirisu's Spark and Machop's Low Kick. Right after that, I picked up a 2.6 pound Drifloon, who does count as a static encounter by the way, and this is a great addition to the team, as Drifblim only weighs 33.1 pounds. Fortunately, on Route 205, I got a Cherubi off the Honey Tree this time around, which is great. The reason being because Cherim sits at 20.5 pounds, so we have another Mon able of being fully evolved, albeit I probably won't use Cherubi for a while since I already have Budew. The new Pokemon didn't stop there, as I snagged a 12.1 pound Baneri in the Eterna Forest, a 4.2 pound Chatot off this kid in Eterna City, and a 1.3 pound Chingling on Route 211. Chatot could very well end up replacing Staravia, while Chingling can evolve into Chameko due to it only weighing a measly 2.2 pounds. Not to mention, it'll be great to have a Psychic type on the team. We didn't need any of our new additions for the second gym, however, as Staravia swept Gardenia's entire team. Commander Jupiter shared a similar fate with Commander Mars, as Pachirisu wiped out Zubat, and Monferno brute forced his way through Skuntank. Back in the old chateau, I caught myself a Ghastly, who along with Haunter are the 2 lightest Pokemon, floating in at 0.2 pounds each. What I was really here for though was the 0.7 pound Rotom inside of the TV. I have a feeling that Rotom could be one of our best team members, so for now it'll replace Pachirisu. There was also the Togepi egg that we received from Cynthia, which I can evolve into Togetic, who will probably be a substitute only if both Staravia and Chatot go down. I then tried to get myself a Gible in the Wayward Cave, but because it was going ham with Dragon Rage, I eventually had to run away. A few Pokemon I could add to my lineup though were Ralts on Route 208, who is allowed to become a Kirlia, as well as the Eevee from Beeb in Hearthome City. It's so annoying that all of the evolutions are just over 50 pounds. Like, come on, you couldn't have made at least one of them under 50? Anyways, Fantina posed to be a threat. Monferno handled Duskull and Haunter, but Mismagius was a different story. Its combination of Shadow Ball and Psybeam made it super effective on almost every one of my team members. Unfortunately, I had to sack off Chingling in order to get a Stun Spore off with Budu. From there, Staravia came in, got taken down to 1 HP while being confused, but broke through and finished off Mismagius. That was risky. By the way, I realized before this battle that I had completely forgotten to switch the battle mode to set, but I looked back through all the major battles and it didn't really affect any of them. The next rival battle was a piece of cake, as Rotom took care of Staravia and Prinplup, Monferno knocked out Roselia, and my Staravia handled Ponyta. After snagging an 11-pound unknown in the Solaceon Ruins, who will just end up being death fodder, it was time for Maylene. This one went much better than Fantina, thanks to Staravia's Aerial Ace, OHKOing Meditite, and two-shotting Machoke. For Lucario, I managed to get the Intimidate off before switching back out into Rotom, who Lucario could hardly touch, so after a few shockwaves, we obtained the 4th badge. Our rival was trying to channel his inner big bad wolf in Pastoria City, but the battle went just about the same way as the one in Hearthome. And just like that, we were at Crasher Wake. Gyarados got obliterated by a shockwave, but similar to Fantina's Mismagius, Floatzel had a lot of moves to counter my Pokemon. With it knowing Crunch, Ice Fang, and Aqua Jet, I had to send in Staravia for the Intimidate before letting it go down. I then switched into Roselia, who paralyzed Floatzel, and took care of it with Mega Drain. And obviously, Quagsire was an easy OHKO. Losing Staravia isn't really a big deal because, as you saw, I have 2 other solid replacements for it. Cyrus ambushed us in Celestic Town, and things got pretty scary during this fight. Sneasel nearly one-shot Monferno with a slash before going down to a few Flame Wheels. Golbat didn't stand a chance against Rotom, but then there was Murkrow. I had to send in Chatot to avoid dying to a Feint Attack, but after one chatter, Chirap went down to a Drill Peck. I mean, what was that kid thinking when naming his Chatot? What kind of name is Chirap anyways? Drifblim only got off 1 hit before being switched out for Roselia, who should have died to a Drill Peck, but Cyrus chose to use Feint Attack instead. Oh, Cyrus, you couldn't have sold any worse. This allowed Rotom to eventually come back in and get the dub. Our rival wasn't too much of an issue in Canalave City, so it was on to Byron. Magneton didn't live to see a turn, and I pro-played Steelix by switching into Drifblim while he went for Earthquake. After I put some damage on it, my new Psyduck was able to finish the job. I had to take a bit of a risk against Bastiodon, as I just spammed close combat while he used Iron Defense. Luckily, Byron never decided to use an attacking move, so we collected the 6th badge. After picking up the Shiny Stone and dealing with Team Galactic at the lakes, it was time for the 7th gym leader, whose name I just can't remember for some reason. Oh, what's that? This joke is old and stupid? Yeah, y'all are right. Doesn't change the fact that this battle was extremely difficult though. Monferno took out Sneasel, but not before getting hit hard by an Aerial Ace. Psyduck was lucky to one-shot Piloswine as she missed a Stone Edge that would have most likely taken us out. After letting Psyduck fall, I sent out Monferno again for the easy OHKO on Abomasnow. I knew that I had to get a free switch in for Frostlass, so after losing my starter, Drifblim managed to land a Shadow Ball before I was forced to send out Kirlia. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do too much, so it was Rotom who came in to finish the job. Well, the run stays alive, but my team is in complete shambles. So after rebuilding the team a bit, the next major showdown was with Cyrus in Veilstone City, and not one thing could go my way during this battle. After paralyzing Sneasel with Pachyrisu's discharge, I sent out Geodude, who only landed a Stone Edge after missing the first two. Oh, but did I mention, he went on to miss another one and then die to a critical bite. As a result, I sent out Togetic to get off some charms before switching into Rotom. Now, you would think Rotom would be able to land a hit, but no. He hit himself in confusion, got flinched, and then hit himself 2 more times. I mean, you just can't make that up. Out of desperation, I went over to Roserade, who didn't get much done, and just when I thought I could take him out after having to sack off Pachirisu, Cyrus sent out Honchkrow, effectively putting an end to this run. That might just be the worst luck I've ever had in a Pokemon battle, but you know me, that's just my RNG. Well, it's safe to say that the heavy Pokemon definitely did better than these lightweights. To be fair, Pokemon Platinum may be slightly more difficult than Emerald, but I don't think it really mattered which game I played, as not being able to own a team of fully evolved Pokemon for a hardcore Nuzlocke is brutal. I would be impressed if someone else tried this same challenge and actually beat Cynthia. Nonetheless, I had a ton of fun making this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much. For now though, have a great rest of your day, and until next time, deuces!